Good evening. For decades, residents across New Jersey have become accustomed to hearing warnings about Lyme disease and the dangers posed by deer ticks. But now, health officials are increasingly sounding the alarms about another tick species that is rapidly expanding throughout the Northeast, and it may be carrying one of the most unusual medical conditions ever documented. Imagine eating a hamburger your entire life without a problem. Then one day, after being bitten by a tick, your immune system suddenly decides that beef, pork, lamb, and other manual products are enemies. This is not scientific fiction. This is a real medical condition known as alpha-gal syndrome, and it is increasingly being linked to the spread of Lone Star tick. Tonight, we examine what we know so far, how this tick is spreading across the Northeast, what health officials are saying, and what it could mean for New Jersey and the surrounding metropolitan region. Let's begin with the tick itself. The Lone Star tick, scientifically known as Amblyomma americanum, is easily recognized by the single white spot located on the back of an adult female tick. Historically, the species was primarily found throughout the southern East United States. Today, this is no longer the case. Researchers, state health agents, and the Center of Disease Control and Prevention have documented a significant forward path expansion of the species during the recent decade. The tick is now well established throughout much of the mid-Atlantic and part of the Northeast, including New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and beyond. Studies indicate that the species continues moving into areas where it was once uncommon. Unlike some of the other tick species, the Lone Star tick is known for being aggressive. Rather than waiting for a host of brush against vegetation, these ticks actively seek out animals and humans. Researchers have noted that they have often appeared in large numbers and may be encountered in residential neighborhoods, parks, hiking trails, wooded areas, and even backyard environments. The disease attracting the greatest public attention is alpha-gal syndrome, commonly referred to as AGS. According to the CDC, alpha-gal syndrome is a serious and potentially life-threatening allergic condition that can develop following certain tick bites, particularly those associated with the Lone Star tick. The condition is unlike traditional food allergies. Most food allergies cause symptoms within minutes. Alpha-gal syndrome often causes symptoms several hours after consuming red meat or products containing alpha-gal. Alpha-gal is a sugar molecule naturally found in most mammals, including cows, pigs, sheep, and deer. Humans do not naturally produce the molecule. Researchers believe that when certain ticks feed on mammals and later bite humans, alpha-gal can be introduced into the body, triggering an immune response in spectacle of the individual. The result? A person who has eaten beef, pork, or lamb their entire life may suddenly become allergic to those foods. For some patients, the consequences can be severe. According to the CDC and the New Jersey Department of Health, symptoms can vary significantly from person to person. Common symptoms include hives, severe itching, skin rash, stomach pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, shortness of breath, wheezing, swelling of the lips, swelling of the tongue, swelling of the throat, dizziness, and fainting. In severe cases, individuals can experience anaphylaxis, a potentially fatal allergic reaction requiring immediate emergency medical treatment. One of the challenges associated with alpha-gal syndrome is that the restrictions often occur several hours after eating. This delayed response can make diagnosis difficult because many patients do not immediately connect their symptoms to something that consumed earlier in the day. Federal health officials continue to study the scope of alpha-gal syndrome nationwide. CDC researchers previously identified more than 110,000 suspect cases throughout laboratory testing data between 2010 and 2022. Researchers have suggested that the actual number of affected Americans may be substantially higher because of many cases remain undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. Health experts say awareness remains relatively low among the general public. Many Americans have never heard of alpha-gal syndrome until someone they know was diagnosed. Others spent months or years seeking answers before receiving a proper diagnosis. For residents of New Jersey, this story is particularly important. State health officials have reported that a lone star has continued moving northward in the state. Areas where the species was once relatively uncommon are now reporting greater numbers of ticks and increasingly concerns about alpha-gal syndrome. Researchers have documented a lone star tick population across portions of central and south Jersey, and evidence suggesting the species continues expanding throughout the region. The broader metropolitan area, including portions of New York, Long Island, North Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, and Connecticut, faces similar concerns as tick population expand. Several factors may be contributing to the spread. Warmer temperature, long tick activity seasons, expanding deer populations, suburban developments pushing deer into wildlife habitat, and increased interaction between human and tick-carrying wildlife. The result is a growing public health challenge that extends far beyond traditional concerns about Lyme disease. Alpha-Gal syndrome is not the only health concern. The CDC reports that the Lone Star tick is associated with several other illnesses, among them Eleuterococcus, Torama, Heartland virus, Burman virus, and southern tick-associated rash illnesses commonly known as STARI. Many of these illnesses may initially resemble the flu. Patients may experience fever, headaches, muscle aches, fatigue, chill, and other nonspecific symptoms. Because symptoms overlap with numerous other conditions, diagnosis can sometimes be challenging. The CDC says that the best defense remains prevention. Health officials recommend using EPA-registered insect repellent, wearing long sleeve and long pants when walking through wooded or grassy areas, treated clothes and gear with paraffin when appropriate, performing full body tick checks after outdoor activities, checking pets for ticks, showering as soon as possible after returning from indoor, and properly removing attached ticks. Experts emphasize that preventing tick bites remains one of the most effective strategies for reducing the risk of alpha-gal syndrome and other tick-borne illnesses. As we sit here tonight, the Lone Star tick represents a reminder of the public health threats are continuously evolving. A generation ago, few Americans have ever heard of alpha-gal syndrome. Today, researchers are tracking thousands of suspected cases and documenting the continued expansion of tick responsible for triggering this unusual allergy. For New Jersey residents, the message is straightforward. The lone tick is no longer somebody else's problem. It's here, it's spreading, and health officials are urging public to remain informed, remain vigilant, and take simple prevention measures whenever spending time outdoors. The good news is that awareness is growing. The better informed the public becomes, the greater the opportunity to reduce exposure and identify symptoms before serious complications occur. For Englebrook Independent News, I'm Haylee Ficuciello, and this is what we know so far. Good night.